Hey, Nikki Sanders here with Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. And I'm so excited that you are here. This is the last unofficial work day of June. It's Friday, June 28th, and we are winding up Professional Wellness Month. So, as a social worker, I want to remind you that professional burnout is not a social work rite of passage. Now, saying that, I definitely experienced professional burnout and compassion fatigue, and that showed up in various ways. One was I started showing up late to my own meetings. Two was I sat in my car at work on the parking lot for 2 hours, unable to get out of the car and go inside. Three is I woke up one day and I was sad, not angry, not frustrated, not disappointed, not annoyed, sad. And that was a huge red flag for me because honestly, I did not know what to do with those sad feelings. Now, we all know what to do with anger, right? Like, we have decided that anger and frustration are acceptable emotions, but what do you do with sadness? And so I was sad. And so a lot of social workers are leaving the profession. A lot of social workers are telling people not to go into the profession. A lot of social workers who are doing direct service are shifting to macro and work that is not people facing. I get it. But let me say this. Social work, professional burnout is not a social work rite of passage. You can social work differently. So if you see yourself you noticing your changes in your behavior, in your thoughts, in how you engage with people, and what you will and won't accept, and how you show up professionally, it's definitely time to do some introspection and some reflection. And so, let me say this. Social work may be the problem. How we social work may be the problem. Especially with these expectations of high caseloads and giving, and the client comes first, and all those things. That is not how we have to show up. We need to prioritize our own self-worth, self-care, emotional wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, because professional burnout and compassion fatigue can also lead to physical health symptoms, not just mental health or emotional health symptoms. So, if you're in this space right now, I am going to give you 5 ways. Social work may be the problem, but social work is also the solution. So let's go back to basics. Social work 101. 5 ways that social work is the antidote to social work. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Advocacy, boundaries, collaboration, resourcefulness, and supervision. So in your intro to social work class, social work 101, right? You definitely learned about advocacy and what it means to be an advocate. It is time that we advocate for ourselves, for our colleagues, for our co-workers, for our organizations. We don't have to continue to social work in the same way, and we deserve the tools, resources that we need in order to do our jobs well. So, advocacy, advocate for yourself, and that looks different for all of us. I'm going to start off saying, be diplomatic, but advocate for yourself. And it helps when you actually have documented proof of whatever you've done or whatever you need. Boundaries, set up those boundaries. Now, for me, it was me who was ignoring my boundaries. It was not my staff. It wasn't even my supervisor. I was the one who was answering emails at midnight and sending emails at 2 a.m. and eating at my desk instead of going to work, or not eating at all, and showing up to work early and staying late, right? Taking on more work with my clients. And in the position where I really started to feel burnout and compassion fatigue, I was responsible for probably about 8 staff who were responsible for about 600 teen girls. And that was a problem because I was doing my individual one-on-ones and I was just taking it all in. So, advocacy, boundaries. Set those boundaries and honor your boundaries. You created them for a reason. So Social Work 101, we always learn about boundaries, and boundaries is so much more than not giving a client, your personal phone number or those kinds of things. That crosses on the line of ethics, but we also need to set up boundaries because we can't serve everyone and we can't save, right? We are not rescuers. So along with those boundaries, that also means staying within your professional competencies. Don't try to do things that are outside of your talent, skills, capabilities, license, right? Don't do those things. So set up the boundaries and honor your own boundaries. Collaboration. Stop trying to do everything yourself. You are not Superwoman. Although you may be a superwoman, you are not Superwoman. So you don't have to do everything yourself. Take off the Superwoman cape. Let people come in and help you, whether it's your staff, your colleagues, delegation, collaboration. Let other people help you. Get that work out there and let other people tackle it. Stop trying to do everything yourself. Resourcefulness, right? Social workers are resourceful. Be just as resourceful for yourself. If you need a therapist, if you need a clinical supervisor, if you need to join a group supervision, whatever the resources are, you need a new doctor, you need a vacation, and you need a travel agent to help you plan your vacation. Get the resources that you need as a social worker. So use your resourcefulness that you learned in Social Work 101 for yourself. So we've done advocacy, boundaries, collaboration, resourcefulness. This may be the most important. Get quality supervision. Supervision, even if you are a supervisor, get someone that you can debrief with, that you can brainstorm with, that someone who can help you think things through or give you a different perspective or point of view. So when I got sad, I did all of these things. I stopped, I reflected. I had staff, listen, my staff was having panic attacks after they were leaving their groups. I had staff pull over on the side of the road and have a panic attack. I had a staff person who fell and hurt herself. There were so many things happening, not just with our program participants, but it was also showing up in the staff. And it started to interrupt my sleep, right? Like I would know when something was wrong with a specific staff person because I would have dreams about them. So when it started to interrupt my sleep, I knew that there was a problem and that I had to find the solution. And the solution was going back to clinical supervision. Even though I was not doing therapy, I went back to my clinical supervisor who did my supervision during my MSW field placement. And my first field placement was a clinical placement where I was doing individual and group therapy. I have some guests here, so hopefully you can still hear me. And we processed a lot of things. And what he said is, you're saying all of the things that make sense therapeutically, but you're not using therapeutic language. And that goes back to the boundaries and the competency, because I had learned that I am not a therapist, I am not diagnosing, and so I had to be able to describe what was happening and what was going on without it sounding like I was stepping beyond my competencies and giving clinical supervision, even though in some instances I did have to do that with my staff. So I got supervision for myself and I got clinical group supervision for my staff with the opportunity for individual clinical supervision for them as well. So if you're feeling compassion fatigue, professional burnout, take the time that you need. If you need a break, if you need a new job, if you need to take a vacation, if you're ready to shift populations or shift the type of social work you do, remember that you can social work differently. But remember these 5 things from Social Work 101. Go back to your social work basics: advocacy, boundaries, collaboration, resourcefulness, and supervision. This is Nikki Sanders with Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. Hopefully you are feeling well professionally and you are in a psychologically safe workplace, not a toxic workplace. So you can catch me here, Nikki Sanders, MSW, or Nikki Sanders CEO, or More Than Social Work with Nikki Sanders on YouTube. Any of those things will get you back here to me on YouTube. So like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think about this video. But Social Work 101, you can social work differently. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Nikki Sanders CEO, on LinkedIn at Nikki Sanders MSW, and NikkiSanders.com. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you for our next video in July. All right, see you later. Bye.